class champion of 2008, with a comfortable lead over the Motorrad Runnix of Evan Hutchison, with Guguzulu more than 15 minutes behind. Stefan Wilken was again setting the pace in Class A6 ahead of Trot, while Musa was experiencing teething problems in his new Aurus. Only 42 seconds separated the first three A5 runners, with Steve Mearns the meat in the Conradi and Compton sandwich. And what a performance by the reigning king of the mountain, Etienne Lawrence, in the little Ford Fiesta. He was chased by the Toyotas of Versaghi and Detroit. Day one of the Osram was a thing of the past, and as the sun started to set, a typical Eastern Cape cold front started to move in, bringing with it some uncertainty and anticipation for day two. After the break, we return to an even more windy, wet and cold Osram Rally. Morning, day two of the Osram Rally, and as you can see, windy and dusty has now turned into wet and misty, which means that the teams are now allowed to use wet tires. Wet weather rally tyres are only permitted once the clerk of the course declares the rally a wet rally. Such a declaration usually results in drivers and navigators, technicians and team bosses running up and down the service park to see what the opposition is doing. So-called wet weather tyres have more grip, but they puncture more easily, so to run on them is somewhat of a risk. And although it rained cats and dogs overnight, word was that the stages weren't too wet. But how will this influence the team's decisions?
When we had the choice last year of running wets or dries on any stage, we often used to use the wets because they provide a better traction. Now that we've been given the option, that's the way we're going.
One of the feedback from the stages is that it's not too bad. 44 Ks on wets is a bit of a gamble. I think the guys who are a little bit further back, Enzo, JP, they might take a risk and it might pay for them.
As the overnight leaders, Toyota drivers Johnny Gemmell and Mark Grenier had the opportunity to choose their road positions for day two.
We chose the 7th on the road today because we wanted to try and get behind the Volkswagens. So, you know, out of sight, out of mind. And let's see if we can pile the pressure on. You know, it's time that they start making some mistakes too.
This left Paul Pfeiffer with the unenviable task to be the first car on the road on all of day two stages.
Obviously, I'm actually only 18th overall because I've got a 4-minute time penalty, but the draws for the top 8 work on your stage time. So as far as my stage times yesterday, I was 8th overall. So that's why, you know, I get into that top 8, and then now obviously I never had a choice for the road position, so I'm now first on the road.
So it's back to Wartrail for another run over the 44-kilometer smooth and now also somewhat wet gravel roads north of Bartley East. The stage times would soon reveal if the conditions were going to be worse, courtesy of the rain, or if they would in fact provide better grip due to the top loose layer of dirt being gone and the surface being a lot firmer due to the wetness. The Nobili Subaru of Paul Pfeiffer and Cindy Harding was the first car to find out, but Pfeiffer ran into trouble with a puncture and lost around 12 minutes, taking him out of contention for the rest of the event. Production car leaders Hein Latergan and Johan van der Merwe were next on the road. The Steve's Auto Clinic Subaru crossed the flying finish in a time of 22 minutes and 18 seconds, or a massive 38 seconds faster than the day before. Latergan was involved in a great tussle with current production car points leaders Charles Wilken and Greg Godrich. The Cecil Konica Minolta Subaru started the day 33 seconds behind the similar machine of Latergan, but Wilken pushed hard on stage 5 to beat his own time from the day before with an even bigger margin of 51 seconds to close the gap to only 10 seconds. Habig and Judd were still not satisfied with the performance of their BP Ultimate Polo, but still improved on their time from the day before by 36 seconds. It was clear that the damp conditions did in fact provide much better grip. So the question was exactly how much faster could they go. JP Damser and Kobus Frey also gambled by fitting wet tyres to the Team Total Evolution Runnix, and were the first ones to dip under the magic 22-minute mark set by Gemmell the day before. Enzo Keane and Guy Hodgson went even faster, flying through the 44-kilometer stage in just 21 minutes and 40 seconds. It seemed as if the wet tyre gamble has paid off. Hergen Fekken and Pierre Harries on dry tyres and from 6 on the road today, and not their usual first, did not manage to equal the time set by BP Ultimate teammate Keane. Although still faster than the day before, Fekken lost 8 seconds to his teammate.
So we took the dry option. It wasn't too bad. There's a few muddy places, so wets could have been a better choice, but we pushed quite hard and it went quite well.
Now all eyes were on the Castrol Toyotas of Cronje and Gemmell, both on dry tyres. They were the ones setting the initial pace and the ones that everyone was hoping of catching. But it didn't happen, not on this stage anyway. Cronje blitzed through Wartrail in his quest to beat the fastest time so far, 21 minutes and 40 seconds set by Clean, and crossed the flying finish in a time just 1 second slower.
We had a nice clean stage and I'm really chuffed. Looks like we're second so far, and I'm pleased with that, eh?
And then it was up to rally leaders Johnny Gemmell and Peter Marsh to try and extend their lead, which was only 1 second at the start of this stage. And extend it they did. Gemmell's performance so far on one of the most daunting rallies on the calendar was absolutely faultless. Their time, 21 minutes and 33 seconds. The top 7 positions remained the same after the morning's first stage, with Gemmell stretching his lead to 9 seconds over teammate Cronje and a comfortable 27 seconds over Fecken. Wilkins' excellent time in N4 moved him up a position into 8th and just 10 seconds behind production car leader Lategan. The sport of rallying has produced a number of household names over the years. We've had a Jan Hetema, a Serge Damso, a Sarel van der Merwe, a Jan Habig, Hannes Grobler. Nowadays we have a Keen and a Fecken, but what about the rest of the guys? The big factory teams like BP Ultimate Volkswagen and Castrol Toyota have large trucks, big crews and even larger budgets. And that is exactly what it takes to compete at the top level. Motorsport is expensive, and the top classes of rallying is the pinnacle. Legends like Van der Merwe and Damso were created right here because they won rallies and championships in fast and expensive cars with the help of big budget rally teams. But what about the rest of the field? The other 40 teams that also travel the country 8 times a year in search of their own personal glory and satisfaction. These guys don't have the big budgets. Some have bigger sponsors than others, and some pay for everything out of their own pockets, and yet they're all here in Berkeley East of all places. The top S2000 Toyotas and Volkswagens and the N4 production Subarus and Mitsubishis are much more expensive than Class A6 and A5 or N3 cars. But these teams still need to build and repair their cars, travel to each event, have enough fuel and tires, and have people to service the cars, just like the bigger teams. And all of this costs money. But fortunately, besides the big sponsors like BP, Castrol, Total and Sasol, there are more sponsors who recognize the fantastic sport of rallying as a tool to build a winning image for their company. Sponsors like Konica Minolta, Philips, Vertec, Motorite, Salom, NetConnect, Barlowall, Panhard Seed, Steve's Auto Clinic, Kulungili Metals Group, De Goede Finance, Techwood and Multipurpose Cement ensure that the Sasol South African Rally Championship can boast with a full field of entries on every event. So what does it mean for a so-called privateer to have financial backing?
We are a privateer team. To get sponsors is quite difficult, but every bit helps. It brings you here.
With the likes of Panhard backing us, they're a great company. They support us everywhere we can, and without them, we can't go nowhere.
So everybody else just does a little bit just to help out, which everything goes a long way, especially when you're a privateer.
You can't rally competitively without financial backing. You really can't. And since KMG came on board for me, they've basically given me the opportunity to drive with Dunlop tyres. All the boys are running Dunlop tyres, and with KMG's money, I can buy Dunlop tyres.
It helps a hell of a lot because, you know, it's a very expensive sport, especially running towards the upper classes. You know, it's a high budget and it's competitive.
It makes a difference between competing and not. You can struggle for years and you can try and compete on the national circuit.
Having the backing of multipurpose cement means obviously the world. We'd never be able to do it in our private capacities.
It enables us to get some new kit, new tires on events, things like that, and also just from a engineering and a technical point of view from BVW's health side, it's huge help from them.
A lot of these drivers, especially the younger ones, have aspirations of hopefully progressing through the ranks to end up in the top class one day, while a lot of the other ones are simply here for the passion and the love of it. Class A5 is probably the most affordable class and the entry point into the world of rally. Some people are happy to live their dream of being rally drivers in this class, while others, like Dave Compton, Chad Conradi and Andre Kleinberg, is on the way up.
You know, not immediately to S1000, but as we go along, we want to step up and take it one step at a time.
In Class N3, up-and-coming drivers like Etienne de Toey and Costa Comantarakis have hopes of also climbing the ranks, but they will first have to fend off very experienced drivers like Etienne Lawrence and Rodney Versage. Class A6 cars are getting fast, and so do their drivers. Craig Trott and former long-time driver Tony Ball as navigator are the class veterans, but the talents of young guns like Stefan Wilken and Mohammed Musa are beginning to shine through.
Too cautious, and the youngsters, yeah, they obviously want to give us a go. We've got the experience, and they never prepared to slow down.
See, the times compared to the other classes, it's showing everybody's driving with full commitment. It's no longer hang back and see, the other guys falling out.
Besides four-wheel drive and a lot of money, there's very little difference between a Class A7 car and the top S2000s. This class also boasts with a number of lower class champions like Gugu Zulu, Chris de Wit and Northern Regions champion Michael Otto, as well as a number of aspiring champions like Kian Sibad, Adrian Karth and Evan Hutchison.
Yeah, it's been difficult. You know, in my first year of rallying, we didn't really know where to fit ourselves in, you know, at each level. And I've spoken to a lot of people, and basically the information that we got back was that the A7 is quite a wild class. And I thought to myself, it's only a 2-litre motor, and it can't be that bad. But it's been a huge experience.
And then you get the rest of the Class M4 production car field, guys and girls who probably don't have real production car championship aspirations, but people who love the thrill of driving these awesome turbo four-wheel drive machines and beating some of the bigger teams in the process. The husband and wife team of Richard and Natasha Vaughan have been particularly successful at doing this.
We've had a good run so far. We had a very, very good turn at Tal. A lot of the boys fell out, so it pushed us up the field. I think we finished officially 6th or 5th overall. So that gave us some nice points.
The friendly Stassen brothers from Nelspruit are still relatively new to the sport, but they are already a favourite with the crowds. Maybe it has something to do with Wild Willie.
As things are going for us at the moment, you know, we are going quite well, so we are aiming for the top at some stage.
Sisters Lola and Megan Verlaag, or the Rally Chicks as they are known, have become a very popular team with lots of fans. They are sometimes less popular with the guys, especially when they beat them. The Rally Chicks have a number of top 10 finishes to their credit and still have aspirations to achieve even more.
The competition's getting much tougher at the front, so and more Super 2000s and faster N4, so it's tough to finish in the top 10 these days.
Back to the action on the stages, it was time to tackle stages 6 and 7 of the Osram Rally, which were repeats of stages 2 and 3. Yillingneskloof and Farloop would add another 36 kilometers of special stage distance before the teams could return to Berkeley East. A problem in stage 6 would therefore also cost time in stage 7 before the service crews could attend to the cars back in service. Nicholas Ryan and Andre Vermeulen and the Philips Toyota Runex were not in control.